First we will be starting with the introduction of what Excel is, and we'll be going through some topics like why you need to use Excel, and is it like today's need and all. And then we will be going through what the ribbons are, what are the quick access toolbar, and then we will try to go through some of the topics like how to enter the data and how to play with the data, because at the end it's all about entering the data and playing with the data, with the different options that Microsoft has given us with Excel tool. So what is Excel? Well, it's a tool to enter the data or visualize the data with the help of graphs, and then to view what is the data, or even I would say it's a simple columns, and it's a grid which contains columns and cell, and you can use multiple conditions to see the specific data, and to summarize the data. And at the end of the day, it's the learning of Excel is not only for your professional life, but it can also be used in your personal life as well, right? Like your budgeting part, or let's say you want to manage your daily expenses. You can use Excel. I mean, you don't need some paid applications to manage your day-to-day activities. You can surely save it in Excel and see what you have achieved, and or what you want to achieve with the help of Excel. So basically, this Excel is a part of, or it's an application within a whole package which comes with Microsoft Office. It contains applications like Word, Excel, MS Access, Outlook, and PowerPoint. Now, when I say these are the applications which comes with the um, Microsoft Word package, but it doesn't mean that these are the only applications which comes with like the Microsoft Office package. There are many other applications which comes with this package, but generally these are the applications. And then when you talk particularly about Microsoft Office 365, then you have many other tools like Power BI, Power Automate, and then you have to do list. Then you have Visio. So there are many applications, but we will be focusing on only Excel for the time being. And if you would like to make videos on any of these topics, please do let me know. Now let's talk about the uses of Excel. So you can for sure you can add the data, and then analyze that data, or even summarize it to have a quick overview of what that Excel or the data is trying to tell us. And then out of that you can create the graphs or charts. So what this graphs or chart does, it gives you more insight into those data, or the trend of that data. As I said, it the Excel can be used for your professional life, or as well as your personal life. And with the personal life, I would say you can manage your budget, or you can even create the payroll from the help of Excel in your office. It can also be used to track your investment, or the loans that you have, or the inventory. Now let's talk about the Excel navigation. So this is a general Excel workbook, or the worksheet looks like. And let's go through each navigations. Now this section is called the quick access toolbar. Quickly access how to create, or to create a new Excel sheet, open a workbook, or save it. So these are like you can do the actions or activities like a much quicker way, I would say. And then if you want to add more kind of buttons over this section, you can do that as well. So all commands will give you the list of all the actions that you can do, or the buttons that you can add. But generally you use popular commands like to center the data, or to delete cells and all. But mostly people use print options, and quick print is there, redo is there, undo is there. So these are the options. You can use it very I would say you can use it on the like on you can access these options very quick. Now let's add one option over here. You can add the add or printer filter, and then click on OK, and now you will see this filter data option. Now how can you use it? Suppose now you want to filter this data, just click on over here, and then it can filter the data from here. Now you can also do that from here. See, if you have seen that, now if I unfilter that, this filter option is also getting enabled, because these are the two similar buttons. See, it's getting activated. So it's a filter option, but sometimes now suppose you are on different tab, and then now you cannot see it, but with the help of quick access toolbar you can still do the same activity over here, right? So sometimes when you want to something, or when you want to access a new feature, or a new activity, you can access it from here. So this is your quick access toolbar, and then this is your ribbon section, wherein you can different kind of activities that you can do, or different kind of actions that you can do with this data, or any data in this worksheet, right? So for an example, you want to, let's say, give a border to this sheet, you can do it over here. So these are the actions which we can do, but we will come on to this bordering part later on, very on the detailed way. Now you have name box. So what this name box does, this is called a name box. So what this does is basically whichever the active cell you are on, it will give you the address of that particular cell. So these are called cell. I will come on to that, but these are called cell, and then this is called the name box, right? Now this area is called the formula bar. Now what it is basically, it will show you the data. First of all, suppose if I have clicked over here, it will show you the data, but now suppose this is the total that we have done. I will come on to that again, but this is the total that we have done, and then it will show you the sum of B7 to E7. So basically it will show you the formula, which if it is there in that particular cell. So this section is called the formula bar, right? I'll just mark it, or no. So this is your formula bar section, right? Here you can see the formulas of a particular cell, right? Now this is your active cell. So whichever the cell that you have selected, it's called the active cell, right? And then these are called the rows. So number one, from number one to number, let's say 104857. So these are the rows that you have. Now you have columns. These are the columns that you have, which are in alphabetical order, or not, yeah, alphabetical order. So these are called columns, right? Now the combination of row and column is called a cell, right? So when you click on any of the cell, now it shows you E9. So E9 is basically E and 9. So let me just color it out. So let's say we are on column H. So let me color this, and then we are on row 9. So color this, and then the intersection of these row and column is called cell. And then if I just color differently, so this cell is H9, right? And then if we are selecting a particular cell, then this cell, or any of the cell which we have selected, is called active cell. Now this is sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and if you want to add more sheets, you can do that as well, sheet 4. And then again, if you want to move this sheet from this location to any other location, you can do that as well. Just keep it clicked, and keep it pressed your right mouse, and move it to any of the location where you want, right? Now again, this is your zoom button, wherein you can zoom the whole sheet, but this zooming is not applicable to any other sheet. If you see, I have zoomed sheet 4, but if I go to the sheet 1, it's still the same. And why normally we use the zoom button is basically to see data more clearly, I would say, or enlarge the font of this, not the font, but enlarge this particular sheet, right? So again, this section is called zoom, right? Okay, great. Now we have normal view. So this is a normal view, which how you want to see the sheet. Then you have page layout view. So page layout view is normally shows how the page look like when it is printed. So when you click on this page layout view, this is how the page will be printed. Suppose this is very common when someone tries to print the Excel sheet, and then it shows that if suppose our data is in Excel just one sheet, but when you try to print it, it goes to multiple sheets, right? So but in this way you can see how much section of this Excel sheet, or let's say how much section of this whole Excel sheet will be printed. So now if you see, since I clicked on page layout, it a small line came in. So basically only this much of area will be printed and not this one. So suppose if you have data over here as well, then this will be printed in another sheet and not on this sheet, right? Now let's try to create a new Excel sheet, and then you try to, or let's try to open this Excel sheet and then create a new one, and save a Excel sheet, right? Now how normally it is done. So how you can access the Excel sheet? Either you can search on this search bar, and then a new Excel app will show over here. Click on that. A new Excel will open up. Now this, we have not created Excel workbook yet, so what options do we have? So this is a template that the Microsoft has provided you. When you click on this, any of the options over here, it will create kind of a template for you, which we will come or we will go through that in the future. But this is how it shows. And then here it will show you the list of all Excel sheets or Excel workbooks that you have created. And if you want to suppose now pin workbook, you click on this small button, and then it will show you the pinned Excel workbook, right? So here this section will show you the list of all Excel workbooks that you have worked with. Now here if you click, so now you have two options. Either you create a new workbook from here, or you click on over here Excel, and then again you can create new Excel workbook. So this is the new workbook. Now what if you have noticed, here you can see only one sheet, right? And sometimes if you see your colleagues workbook, you will see that they have more than one sheet as a default. How's that happen? Is basically it's because of no I'll show you again. So click on, if you want to open or create more Excel sheets instead of just one, go to files, more, options, and then in the general tab, if you see over this section, when creating a new workbook, increase this to 2 or 3, and then click on OK. Now let's close this again, and let's try to open a new Excel sheet. So I have already pinned this Excel button over here in my taskbar. Now if you want to do something like that, simply just search for Excel, and then right click and click on pin or unpin. Since my Excel is already there, so when I let's show you. So it's gone. Now if I want to pin that to Excel or to the taskbar, just click on that button, and now when I click on Excel, it will show you again the same window. Now what I was showing you is, when you create a new workbook, if you want to create like multiple sheets, now it is done, right? So that's how you can have default more number of sheets. Even you can have 5 or 10 or whatever you would like to have. But just remember, the number of sheets increases, the performance of the workbook also decreases. So make sure you have less sheets or like you have less data in a workbook, so that you can work with that workbook easily, right? Now let's open the previous Excel workbook that we were working with. Go to file, click on open. So what it will give you, it will give you multiple options like the recent workbook that we worked with, or if you want to have it with OneDrive. So OneDrive is again a application or app. If you are signing in, and then it will show you the where the wherever the file is kept in the cloud. So cloud is like the space in the cloud which you can access it from. Like suppose if you want to access this file from your mobile, you just need to install this OneDrive application and then sign in. You can access it from anywhere. Now we have this PC, so default it will show you the place where from where you can access that file. Since I would like to browse the file, so when I click on browse and then go to C drive, and then this is where I have kept my file. So when I click on this and click on open, or even you can do the double click or click on open button, and it will show you the file we were working with. Now since we have not closed this Excel workbook, it will still be there. So just let's close it, and now this is the workbook which we were working earlier, right? So this is how you create a new workbook. Now suppose you don't want to go through that process of going to this menu and all. Just click on Control and N, which will create a new workbook for you. So this is but let me tell you, this workbook is not saved anywhere. So if suppose if you are just typing something, and then if you are just closing it, it will ask you whether you want to save it or not. And if you say don't save, then technically this file is not getting saved anywhere, and then you will lose the data. So make sure when you are doing Control N, you are first saving that file somewhere. Like see, it will ask you whether to save that file. I'm saying yes, I want to save it, and then I want to save it in C drive, this one, and then I'm saying sample workbook, right? And then click on save. So now it will get saved. So make sure when you're creating a new Excel workbook with the shortcuts or Control N, make sure you first save it and then start working on that Excel workbook. Otherwise you will lose the data later on. Suppose for an example, if the computer crashes, or if for some reason you are not able to save this, or even if your Excel gets crashed, then you will lose the data. But yeah, again, I mean, next time when you open the Excel, it will give you an option whether you want to recover it or not, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's better always to save your Excel sheet. One more thing which I missed in the previous section was like this scroll bars. So this is called the vertical scroll bar. So suppose if there are like more data, and then either you can use the mouse to scroll, or you can surely use this vertical scroll bar. Now similar to the vertical scroll bar, you have a horizontal scroll bar as well. Suppose if your data is just going like in this location, so you can surely come back to this location. So this is this section is called the horizontal scroll bar. Let me no map it for you. So this is your horizontal scroll bar, and this is your vertical scroll bar, right? Sorry, but yeah, this is your vertical scroll bar. Now let's start with getting to working with the ribbons. Like I said, this section is called the ribbons, right? Now let's take it one by one what this ribbons does. Now let me clear this out, and then again do this. Now these are called tabs you have. So this section is called tabs, right? So what these tabs does, if you click on this tab, right, so it will give you multiple options over here, right? And then like what you want to do with the data, or what kind of actions do you want to do. So with multiple tabs you have multiple options. These are called groups that you have. So if you see it, this is one group, right? And then this is another group, this is another group. So these are called groups. Why? Because all the options within this let's say insert tab, these are the options or charts. So this is a chart section, let's say, but technically this is called groups. But again, these are the sections that you can implement within this Excel workbook. Now there is something called contextual tabs. For an example, let me add an image. So let's add an image first, and then I can show you what I mean to say. Okay, let's take this picture. Now, see, as soon as I imported a picture, right, you can see one more tab over here, which is called picture format. Now, what it does basically, it gives you many options which we can do with this image itself, right? So this is not visible. If I just move out of this image, now it's gone. So what is contextual tabs? This kind of, or this tab comes in when um, there is a particular action that you can do with particular object. So everything in Excel is related to an object. So when you click on that, you will get a picture format kind of a tab, and it goes invisible when you are not clicking on that picture. And what you can do, like, you can give a frame, or then you can crop this image. So suppose if I don't want to see the whole image, you can crop this, right? And then when you click over here, so it's like done. So when you click over here, it's you can minimize or crop this whole image. And then again, what else you can do? You can give a border color, what you want to say or what you want to give, you can do that. So basically it's more like this image or this picture format option or the tab comes in based on particular context, right? Now it's not only the image which comes into play. Now I'll show you something else as well. Let's say you have this data, right? So this is a sample data that we have, and then if I'm creating a pivot table out of this, let's say I'll come back to what pivot table is, but let's for an example, I'm just creating this pivot table. Right now I'm saying, so now when I click on this, or when I click on or create a new pivot table, now if you see, and if there is this pivot table, if you see, there are now two more tabs over here. So this is again a contextual tab, with which you can which comes in when you have a pivot kind of thing. So what you can do, you can change the color of this pivot, or you can add the sum of all these, what we say, let's say off. So you can play around with the data with this pivot table, since we are talking only about the contextual tab. So yeah, this is what it gives you. It gives you another or few more tabs based on the context of the data or the object that we have, right? So when I say object, everything is object. So these sheets are also called objects. This workbook is itself an object. I mean, I'll not go very deep into that, but at the end, everything is object in Excel workbook. Now suppose you want to minimize or resize this, what we say, this ribbon. So this is very, I mean, the tabs can be resized, not like you resizing something, but when you minimize this workbook, the tabs also gets minimized. So this is how you cannot minimize, but yeah, resize, sorry, you can resize this tabs, right? But that can be done only when the Excel workbook is not in the, like, when it's not in maximize situation or stage. So when you click on this small button over here, this square button, it gets maximized. So basically maximize button maximizes the whole Excel workbook, and it takes the shape of your screen. And then if you want to do some, like, minimize it, and then if you want to do something parallelly over here in this section, you can do by just selecting on the corner of this Excel workbook and then drag it by selecting the right mouse key. These buttons are called, these buttons, like these small buttons, let me just highlight it for you. These small buttons are called the dialog boxes, right? Or the buttons for the dialog boxes. So when I click on these buttons, I'll just show you. You will get more options what to do with the data in this Excel sheet. Right now, suppose if I want to change the font, and then I want to make it bold, and then I want to increase the size of this particular text, I'll just click on OK, and it will increase, right? And then again, if I want to do so, if you see, this small button is within this group of font, right? So you can do many things within this font, or you can change the font. Now similar to that, you can also strike through or superscript, and then you subscript. So basically, so what superscript does, it basically that moves the text up the border. So this is what it does, so basically, if you see, now this text has moved up, bit up. And then if you want to change and do a subscript, so subscript will move that text down the cell, right? And then again, if you don't want to do anything, it will just go as a normal. And then strike through will again strike the text within that cell. So we don't want the strike through, I'm just taking it out, right? So this is and then again, let's go to the alignment section. So if you see, the font is here, right? Alignment is here. So the number is here. So basically, it's just the same window which pops up, but with different tabs. And with that different tabs, you can change the look and feel of that particular text, or the text, or the whole or overall sheet, right? Okay, let me just undo this so that we are back to what we had earlier. So this is the undo button that you have. Now there is one more thing is like how to minimize this, or if suppose sometimes you want to see more of the data, and you don't want to use a zoom button, and but you want to see more data over this section. Well, you can also minimize or hide the ribbon, this ribbon that you have. And this is the button that you have, when you click on display or ribbon display option, it will give you three options: hide, auto hide the ribbon. So now it's gone, but as soon as you click on this top button, like this one, it will show you. But again, as soon as you click on any of the cell, it will just hide. So basically, we have activated auto hide button. Now show tabs will only show you the tabs, and then the rest of the ribbons will pop up. But now suppose if you just want to see the or if you want to see the tabs and the commands, then of course you have to click on this button, right? So these are the, I mean, these things comes sometimes in use, but generally we don't play up with that. But again, if you don't want, see the one trick over here. So if you say show tabs only, this formula bar is there. But if you're saying, okay, now sometimes you want to hide this whole section, and then it's on you. I mean, you don't want to activate the auto hide ribbon, like this one. And if you just want to hide it, you can do that, this as well. So basically this, now if you see, there are tabs but there are no commands, you can pin this ribbon button, right? And again, there is a small command, control F1, and then it will hide. Now one of the very I would say important thing over here is the shortcuts, or we can say the ribbon shortcuts. Now you do not want to use the mouse in your Excel sheet and or workbook, and you want everything to be done with the keyboard, right? So generally in the Excel world, we say that you don't use mouse, you just use your keyboard, or keyboard to access all these tabs, right? This one. So right now I'm clicking the mouse, but now suppose if I don't want to use the mouse and I want to go to this data section without clicking mouse, right? So let's so this is how the shortcut works. Click on Alt button, and then as soon as you click on Alt button in your keyboard, now you will see all kinds of the capital letters over here, and then you will see the numbers over here. So basically these numbers will show you the shortcuts, how we can use the shortcuts. Now, so as I said, I want to go to the data tab, right? Click on Alt, then A. So it will take me to the data tab. Now within the data tab, I want to click on advanced button. So this is the advanced command that I have. So for this, I'll click on Q. So now I have advanced option for this one, right? So now I'm just clicking OK. So this is how you access the shortcuts within tabs of, or within the commands of the tab. Now suppose if I want to go back to the home button, I'm clicking on Alt and H, right? And then within H I have all these shortcuts. Now suppose I want to, let's say I want to bold this section. Now I'll not use my mouse. I'll just use the keyboard, right? So I'm clicking on Alt, H and 1. So this will bold my section. So I mean, try to use this. This is very handy. You will say thanks to me why I'm saying so, because this will make a good or great productivity out of what you do on the daily basis. So try to utilize these shortcuts in Excel. So again, Alt, let's say I'm going to the review R, and then let's say I want to do what, new comment. So click on C. So this will give me a new comment. I'm saying, hi, this is how the shortcuts work, right? Okay, great. Now again, you just click on if you want to go out of this comment section, just click on escape and you will just move out. And yeah, and then if you want to again use some Excel shortcuts, you again click on Alt H. I mean, try to utilize this. This is really great. Now for example, I'll just give you one more example. Like suppose if I want to change the font of this particular cell, click on Alt H and then FF. So this will give me or this will select this drop down of this section, and then without clicking on this drop down, what I'm doing, Alt and cursor, use your keyboard cursor down, and this will give you the list of all the the fonts that we have in this system, right? And enter. Now this is what the ribbon was. Now let's talk about the quick access toolbar. Let me just clear this out. So what I'm doing, control minus. So that's how you can clear out, control minus. And then again, I don't want to use this pivot point right now. I'm just doing this, and then I want to I'm just going up. I mean, I'm just doing this for just right click, delete comment, and then if I want to keep the same format as it is, just click on this format painter and then select all these sections. Then this will also bring the same format. Now again, let's talk about the quick access toolbar, right? So as I mentioned earlier, so this section is your quick access toolbar. I think we have already gone through that like a small part, but let's talk about it a bit more. Some Excels have this auto save button. This is generally when you have created this Excel workbook in OneDrive that you have. So if you have OneDrive, then you will see one more button over here which says auto save. And then you have like filter option over here. So how do we add this? I'll just show you it again. So you click on this small button over here, which is a drop down, and click on more commands. And then if I want to add let's say email button, right, double click on this email and click OK. So what it does, it will bring this email button over here. So these are all the list of the quick access toolbar buttons or the commands, and then click on OK. So now if you see, I'll just remove this marker. Now if you see, you have small button over here which says email. So when you click on this email, it will first, if you have not installed or configured your email, then it will try to configure it. But let's not go to that right now. I don't want to go to that right now. So what we'll be doing, we will be creating a sales data for the financial year 21, right? And then we'll enter some states in India, and then we'll see the sales of each state with respect to, let's say, the car sale. Okay, so car sales for FY 2021, right? And then let's say we have states. Now, let's take it a bit more detailed. Now, when you see, I'm still writing this data here. It's enter, right? So when this status is enter, you cannot make or you cannot do the formatting, right? So it can be done only when this state is in this state, not like this states, but this status bar, right? So this is called status bar, this whole area, and this status bar is ready. Then only you can format this any particular current cell. Right. Now, as I said, just to reiterate, these are the columns that we have, right? And then these are the rows that we have. So, and when the columns and row intersects, it becomes a cell, right? And then this is where you can see which is the current cell that we have. Okay, great. So let's say we have Delhi. Let's say we have Mumbai, Gujarat, Kerala, right? So these are the states. Now, when you are writing or typing data, let's say FY21, FY, so financial year first, or sorry, it should not be financial year. It should be quarter one, right? So apologies if I think previously in couple of videos I said FI1, so basically it should be quarter one. Now, as soon as I type and enter, it moves to the second or the next row, and then again if I enter, it moves to the next row. Now suppose if you want to move it to the next column, so you basically do the tab part. So when you do the tab, it moves to the next column on the same row, right? So this is the next column that we are on, or we will be going to, and then but it will stay on the same row, right? So for an example, again, if I'm typing something and then do the tab, it will move to the next column with the same row. Now if I want to go back to the same cell, I will do shift and tab, so it will come back to same the cell, right? Again, it goes the same with the enter part. So suppose now I am doing 1524, right? And then if I do enter, it will move to the next row and same column, right? Let's say 4574, enter, 652454. I'm just randomly typing the data, right? It's just not something you need to. So let's say now you have quarter two. There are many things which you need to focus now. Now let's say again, this is I'm just typing some random thing. Okay. Now this section is the formula bar, as we discussed earlier, right? So in this formula bar, what you can see is like whichever the current cell is, like suppose whichever this selection we does, that value comes over here. So this is the formula bar that we have. Now this, if you see A, B, C, D, if you compare four of these columns, you will see this C column is a bit like grayed out, and then again if you go through the rows, this 7 row is grayed out. Basically it says that we are on C column of 7th row, right? So that's why it's a bit grayed out, right? So we can call it like the column of the active cell, right? And then this row of the active cell. So basically this is the combination, row and column combination gives you the active cell. Now as we discussed earlier, again this is your name box, right? And then which is basically, as I mentioned earlier, this is the address of the active cell or the current cell. Now let's format it a bit, let's beautify it, I would say. So what I did, just to enlarge this, I just use this zoom button. I want to make this, I want to, basically see this text in one row, but one row and one column, right? Right now it's on, even though it's on only B2, but it's also visible in this cell, right? So let's combine these two cell into one cell, and that can be done with the help of merge and center. Now if you see, it's in the one cell, so B2 is the cell name, or cell address for this particular cell. And then if you want to kind of give the border, so let's give this a border as well, right? Now again, let's give a border to this as well, right? So you have multiple options for the border. You can also give, like, the single bold border, or even you can change this bold border to all borders, right? So this can also be done. Right now, to beautify it, let's make this the values or the text on the center of the cell, right? So right now it's aligned towards left, right? So let's make it center, right? And then mid aligned. Now this again came to the center. Now this I'll do the same thing in multiple ways. Now see, this text is again aligned towards left. This text or these values are aligned towards right. So let's not use this, these buttons, but what I can also do, I will select the formatting of this cell and then try to implement it for rest of the cells. So what I will do, there is in the home tab, this format painter command is there. I will click that, and as soon as you click, you see some moving lines, I would say, right? And then select whole these text, and now this is also center aligned. So basically what it is doing, when you this format painter, it's copying the format of this particular cell, and then it is implementing it for rest of the cells as well, right? Now to beautify it, let's so for this data, this is the header part, right? So this is called header, and then this is the data that you have. So let's differentiate it as well. So what I will do, let's first give the headers a color, different color. Let's make it about a bit more lighter, so that the users can see it, that it's a header. And then again, for this part of the data, we are again making it a kind of a grayed out kind of thing, or grayed color. So now you can differentiate which are the headings or the main things, important parts, and then this is the data. Now even though we will be going through these formulas and functions in the future videos, but I want to just give you a brief of what the formulas are, or functions are. I will show you something. So we have some inbuilt function in Excel which can basically do many activity or many calculations, and most of these formulas can be found in this section. So this is where you will see all the formulas that can be used in the Excel sheet. So this is kind of all the formula. So this is the section where you can see all the formulas, right? And it comes under the formula tab. Okay, so let's try to sum this quarter 1 data, right? So you can do two ways. Either you can just select this sum button over here. So if you just hover the on the button, you can see the formula, right? So this can be done, but again, so what it says, you can do alt plus equal to. So alt plus equal to. So this is a shortcut for your, or this is a shortcut key, like just click on, so let's go to the next tab, click on alt and plus sign. So this will sum up, right? But if you see, now this is aligned towards right, this is also aligned towards right. The reason being, we formatted only this much of area, right, and not like this area as well. So this will again be like, you know, earlier how the Excel sheet has been formatted, like the default one, right. Now let's I'll give you some more tips or tricks, even though there is a good video that I have created in one of my in my channel. You can go through that, tips and tricks in Excel, right. You can surely go through that. But now if I'm doing control right, so what it did, it basically copied this formula to this cell as well, this formula to this cell. So what it is doing, not only the formula but the whatever this content over here, it's basically bringing it here as well. Now I will do the similar for this section. So I'm saying now what this formula is doing is it's basically summing up B4 to B7. So B4, so this is our B4 to B7. So this is summing up all these values and bringing up this here. So what we will be doing something similar to similar over here as well, equal to sum. Now I want to write so basically what we are doing, we are writing a function or a formula, right. So this sum is a function and then we are writing a formula. And as soon as you see, when you write sum, you have all these inbuilt functions. We will go through some of the functions, and then, you know, you can surely go through one of my video which, or one of the series which is covering almost all the functions and the formulas that we have in Excel. There is a different series for that. But now for this, as soon as I write equal to sum, you will, and start the open bracket, you will see number 1, number 2 and number 3. Now for this, see, there are two ways. Either, you know, if suppose you do not want to sum up all these but just want to sum up something else, like suppose 6 7 5 4 plus 3 7. So what it is doing, so you have written one number and then comma, and then you are again writing another number, right, and then close the bracket. So it will show you the sum of those numbers. So basically this sum or this formula is not related to this. For that we have to write another formula. But this is a sum formula. So this sum function is not only to select these rows or columns, but it can do the individual summing up as well. But let's go back to the, you know, the formula that, or the formula that we are doing. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to sum up all these numbers now, or all these columns within this set, right. So sum and then enter. So it has summed up all these numbers together. Now again, there is one more trick. Now if you do control D, it will do, or it will just copy paste the formula towards downside. Now if you see, we have B5 to E5. So what it is doing, B5, right, so this one to E5, E5. So this is combining all these cells together to bring up this sum, right. If you have any doubt, please do let me know. But this is really important. If you don't understand, it will be really tough for you to now understand the future things. Now again, if I want to do the sum is equal to sum, you can do control D, but I'm just trying to, you know, do this manual part, right. Let's do one more thing. I don't want to sum these two, I just want to sum these two columns, right. So what will I do for that, is equal to sum, right, this and comma this. This will also do the same. So what we are doing, sum of B7 and C7. So what is the difference between these two? This is this formula is bringing everything from B6 to E6. So whatever we have in B6, from there till the E6, it's bringing up. But in this formula, if you see, we are just summing cell B7 and cell C7. So we are just summing B7 and C7, and we are not summing up these two. So what is the difference between these three? These two is here we have colon and here we have comma. So this is how the difference is, right. If you understand, it's good. Otherwise, please make sure you just go through this again. And then I want to sum up all these three again. So I'm just doing control D. So what it will do, it will basically, it's B8, not this one. So just remove this because it will be wrong. Control D, and then let's say control T, right. So yeah, Now let's make it a bit more beautiful. Total here, and then we have total here, right? And then let's color format this as well, right? So now everything is aligned towards center, and then if you see, we don't have a border over here and we don't have a border over here. So just let's select everything all together, and then again select this. Now we have the border as well. Right now, see, it's if it is a number, then it's okay. I mean, sometimes some prefer to use the comma after 3 digits, and some prefer to use it after like yeah, every 3 digits. So let's, but in India, I think it's first it's 3 digits, then after 2 digits, right? So for that, what you can do, just select all these. Either you can do something like this, right? So we have like what, 00 dotted. But suppose if you don't want these decimal places, you click on decrease decimal, so you can do something like this as well, right? So now if you see, it's decimal places, and then this is also aligned towards center. If not, let's just check it, because I think it's aligned towards center right now. Yes, okay, great. What else do we have? Let's color this as well, because since it's a total and not a part of these individual values, let's color this. So this is how your the dashboard looks like. Now see, it doesn't look good, this we have the data till column F, but this is not aligned towards center. So what we can do, first let's demerge it, and then let's select till here, and then select this one. Again, I mean, it's all up to you. How do you want to showcase this data? Now I don't like this being on the I mean the similar font to the rest of the data. What we can do, we can just increase the size of this the text, and then again I want to increase the size of these headers. Let's not make it like this much, because then there will not be any difference. Again, let's make it something like this. Right now it looks a bit more good, right? So yeah, this is how you enter the data and play with the data. Now sometimes you would like to understand Excel, or sometimes you want to search something over Excel. There is a small button, like, let it open, like there is a small tab at the top, just below or just beside view, which is called help. So if you click on this help and then help command, here you can see almost like everything, or if you search anything over here, you will get the help. Not like someone is sitting over there to help, but the documentation part is really good. Now for an example, this XLOOKUP is a new function which is not replacing, but you still have the VLOOKUP, but XLOOKUP is much more reliable, I would say, because there are some restrictions when we use the VLOOKUP. I will surely make one video for this, but just for the sake, I mean, just so for the sake that we are having this discussion, I'm saying that you can take the help by searching it. If you want to search some content over here, like suppose sum. So as soon as you search sum, it will show you the sum function. So use the sum function to sum numbers in a range, learn more about sum. So some values based on multiple conditions. So you will get all these options or all these results when you search something over here, right? So you can use the help tab, and within that you can use the help. And you can also contact the support, but sometimes when the version or Excel version is older, Microsoft used to not support that older version. So I mean, but the community of Excel is a very big. I mean, if you search anything over Excel or even on YouTube, you will get a good result. I mean, you don't need to basically come over here and to search for specific help or something, right? So just the last thing which I wanted to do is to give a thick border. There's one more thing which you can do, but I don't know if you really want to do that. So right now in this, we are not showing whether it's a quantity or it's a currency, right? So for an example, if it is a currency, right? So what you can do, let's click on this button and then let's come to currency and then symbol. If you want to use Indian currency, let's search for it. So suppose if you want to do this symbol, Indian currency symbol, that's it. I mean, or if you don't want to go to this section, you can also right click and then click on format cells, and then again you can get the currency over here. Right, so this is how you add the currency. There are many ways, and I mean it's up to you which way you want to use, or which way which type of actions you want to use. But yeah, that's all in this video. I think it was a big one, but I really wanted you to have some understanding of the basics, so that it's not difficult for you to grasp the future videos. So that's all. Thank. As I mentioned in my previous video, that it's always good to use keyboard as much as possible, and let's I mean use mouse as less as possible. The reason being, the productivity increases when you play with or use only the keyboard, when especially when playing with the Excel sheet. And because of that same reason, I thought maybe this video, or I should introduce a video which can help you to move around the Excel sheet in a faster way. Right, so let's start it. So again we will be having the same Excel sheet. I think this Excel sheet is really good to play around, right? So as I mentioned, the first thing, if you are on any Excel sheet, and or if you are on any specific cell, and if you want to move to the next cell down, like to the next row, suppose if I'm editing this now, the way what did I do to edit this cell? I didn't use the mouse. It's basically F2. So if you have function F2, so you have to click select function and F2, and then you can edit this cell. So to move down to the next cell, you click on enter, so it will move down to, or the move down to the next cell. To move up to the next cell or the previous cell, you just do shift enter, it will move up, right? So now if you want to move to the next column, you just do tab, and if you want to move back to the previous column, you do shift tab, right? Now let's suppose you are on the last row, and if you want to go to the first row or first cell of that row, you either do control or control, and you can use the cursor which is on towards the left, or you can also do is function and home key in your keyboard, right? So yeah, I mean, if again if you want to move specific to one cell only, whether to up, right, or down, or right or to the left, you can use the keyboard cursor arrow, right? So yeah, you can do something like that. And then to move to the last cell which contains the data, you can click on control and down, so this will take you to the last cell. Now if I do again, it will take me to the last cell of the whole sheet, or of the column, right? So if I go to control up, it will take me to the cell which contains the data. Again it goes with this, again it goes like control and right, it will take me to the cell which contains the last, which contains the data and the last cell. Then what else do we have? Now let's give you more some tips or tricks, even though we have another video for that. Now if you want to select the cells or the columns which contains the data, and if you want to select all those columns, just do control shift and right cursor key, and it will select all these columns. And if you want to select everything which contains the data, since you have selected all the columns, now if you want to select all the rows which contains data, just do that down key as well, keep control shift pressed, right? So this is how you can do that. Just play with it, you will understand what I mean to say, but try to use control shift while selecting the data, and then you will understand what I mean to say, right? That's how you play with the keys in your keyboard. Now let's try to use mouse a bit, even though I'll not recommend it, but I will show you both, how to use the mouse as well as the keyboard. Now suppose if you want to select the whole row, for sure you can just click on that column, and you can select the column. If did I say row, I'm sorry, but this is the column that you select, right? So yep. And then if you want to select the whole row, this is how you select with the help of mouse. Now how do you select it with the help of keyboard? Is just shift space, and you can select the whole row. And then if you want to, and after selecting that, if you want to select the whole all the rows which contains data, again control shift and down will take you to that. Now suppose if you want to select the whole column with the help of only keyboard, just to control and space, it will select the column, right? Again, if you want to select the rest of the columns, you can just do the control shift and arrow keys on your keyboard. Good. Now even though it's not recommended, but still, I'll just I don't know, should we be doing that? But just for the sake, we are doing this, like the basic things. Suppose if you want to select a particular range of within the Excel sheet. Now, what is range? Range is a collection of multiple cells. Now, when I say H5 to H or I8, so this is a range of this is a range, and which is a collection of cells. Right now, let's use the name box to select a couple of, some ranges or even cell. So let's say I want to go to A2, so I would say A2, and then my current cell will be A2. Or for an example, let's say if I want to go to J3, so I'll say J3, and the cursor or the active cell will come my J3. Now suppose if you want to select multiple cells, which is called the range. Let's say I want to do like G4 or G3 to let's say J11. So this will select the whole like the range. So yeah, but if you see now, the name box I have changed, and it's now the G3. Why? Because the active cell is still the G3 part, right? So yeah. Now if you want to select the whole column, let's say F column, let's say F, it will select the whole column. But again, I haven't seen anyone, neither I have used the name boxes to select the columns, but yeah, it's good to know at least. Now there is one important thing which we can learn, is about going directly to a cell, right? So this is how you can do it. It's called find and select. This button. Yeah, you can you can click on go to or control G. Again, if you do control G, you will get control G, you will get which cell you want to go, right? So because since we search all these things in the past, G3 to J11, so that's why it's showing in this. Or what you can do, go to special, or sorry, go to button over here, and then say A1, and then click on enter. It will take you to the A1. It's just there are many ways to reach out to a specific solution. So it's all up to you which way you want to do. Again, you can get this find select, I think, with the help of control G, as I said earlier, and then again F5, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, exactly. So right now, within a minute or two, I showed you like what, 3 options just to go to us, 3 or 4 options just to go to a specific cell. There are many ways to reach out to a destination or to a solution. Now, in the previous video, we went through how to add multiple sheets, or how to add more sheets as a default, because normally some Excels or workbook have one sheet as a default, and then we try to add more sheets as a default option. But now let's play a bit more with these sheet names and all. So first thing, you can rename these sheets, right? So if you right click, you can rename, or even if you double click, you can rename. So let's say I want to give the name as sales data. For sure, you can give space, or some some kind of special characters, but not all characters. It doesn't take all characters. So for an example, I'm trying to type the forward slash, but it's not taking. So yeah, I mean, it will not take all the special characters, but some, or very rare things. I think let me try for dash. I think it will, that will also take. Yeah, right. So that's how you can rename the sheet. Now let's try to insert it, because that's how the flow showing it. So let's insert one. I'm clicking on insert, and then here you can see you have chart, macros, and international macros. Let's not go to that. And then you have special spreadsheets, which basically gives you a template of billing statement and many others. I mean, right now you don't need to know that, but if you would like to know, just click on and try to explore. Right, so right now I will just click on worksheet and click on OK. So it will add one more sheet over here. Right, now if I want to hide this sheet, so we already did insert, let's delete it. Now if I delete, then it's gone. Let's delete one more, right click and delete, it's gone. So yeah, if you do undo, it will not bring it back. So that's done. I mean, what you have deleted is deleted, right? And then if I want to hide, for sure I can hide this, and only this unhide will be visible if there are any sheets which is hidden. So if I'm saying unhide and click sheet 2, it will be visible. Now if you see, the unhide option is basically hid, I mean, it's grayed out, since there are no sheets to hide. Good. Now I intentionally left this move and copy. I'll just come on to that. Let's go to the tab color. You can give a color to any of the sheets. So these are called tabs, or sheets, whatever you would like to call it. But yeah, and then if I want to give this tab some other color, I can do that. Let's say, let's give red color to this tab. I mean, it's totally up to you which you want, what you want to do. But I mean, let's try not to give so much some like rainbow colors, or like peacock colors, wherein you have, I don't know, I mean, too many colors to Excel sheet, it doesn't look really good. Try to make the data look good, but not like, it should not be fancy to show it that you are very good with the Excel sheet. Just try to keep things very simple and understandable, so that the person in front of you, or to whomever you are showing this Excel sheet, he or she is able to understand the data. That is the main intention behind playing with, or beautifying the Excel sheet or the workbook. I have seen many people, they just add so much of color, and it doesn't really look good. Some organization even have some the policy. I don't know whether it's to call it policy, but some organizations have some rules when it comes to dashboards or the data presentation. So they have kind of the color codes which you must use, and it should not be too fancy to present it to someone. So yeah, keep it simple, what I mean to say is. Now what else do we have? Now let's do this copy and move. Now when I click on view code is also there. Now do we really need to? Yeah, let's do that as well. So this is the, what we say, the Visual Basic, or when you create or when you use VBA, or when you try to record the macros, the code goes behind, or in this location. So I mean, you don't need to know now, right now. You don't need to really understand what they are. We will sure come on to this section as well, when we are on the macros tutorial in within this series. Right, now let's go back to move and copy. So now suppose you want to create a copy of the same sheet, right? And then you create a copy, and then move to the end, and then it will create one more sheet with the same name, but it will add two as well, because I forgot to mention that no two sheets can have the same name. It will not let you have the same name for the same for multiple sheets. So that's why it's adding two over here. So now, so let's say you are removing this two and try to enter it. So it says that name is already taken, try a different one. So okay, I mean, yeah, you can surely give some other name. Let's say you are giving one, right? Now that this was what we did, was more about copy. Now if you, let's not play with this sheet, but now if you want to move this sheet itself, like you want to have this sheet in another workbook, so you can do that as well. You click on new workbook and then create a copy, and then okay. So how does it matter whether you click it here or not? Now if you don't click on create a copy, it will just move this sheet to another Excel workbook, right? Why? Because now if you see over here, there is no sheet data sales 2 tab, right? So it has actually moved to another workbook. Now, but suppose let me close this and let me create a new copy of this to the end, create a copy, right? And now we have the sheet. And now if I try to move this by creating a copy, and I'm selecting new workbook, and if I now select this create a copy, what it will do, it will only create a copy. See, so it will only create a copy in the new workbook, and the sheet that you had in the previous workbook, it will stay as it is. This is really good because I have been using this option, very frequently, especially when you see, when you get the data over the mail, or someone shares an Excel workbook with you, and if she or he asks you to do some kind of beautification, you just don't jump into that Excel workbook to start working on that. First thing, or the first foremost thing that you need to do, is to create a copy of that Excel workbook. And why so? Because if you do any kind of mistakes, and there is a high possibility that you cannot take it or roll it back to some extent, right? So I'll always recommend you to create a copy of that Excel workbook and then work on the other copy, so that if it is done on the first hand itself, I mean, it's really good, but the chances are very less you will mess up with the data, and then you will not have. And even sometimes, suppose you are working on an Excel sheet for the whole day, right? And then you feel like when you did the data analysis or the summarization, somewhere in between that data got messed up, and you don't know what to do. So obviously, I mean, you can surely go back to your previous Excel sheet that you have saved or created a copy of. So yeah, as I said, always create a copy of your Excel workbook, right? Then you have few more things. Let me show you. Now suppose if you have too many, worksheets, and then look over here, you have a small triangle which shows to the right. So basically, if it is active, if it is seen, so it means there are more sheets, but they are hidden, not like hidden, but they are on the right side. So if you click over here, it will take you to that sheet. Now again, earlier this triangle was disabled, but now this is enabled. Why? Because there are sheets on your left. Now this small three dots, if you just move that with the help of your mouse, you can see more sheets over here. So I mean, it's up to you, how do you want to see more sheets. But what you can make sure is, if there is a like three dots button over here, right, or even if there is a small triangle over here, it tells you that there are many sheets which you maybe you might not be aware of. Now again, as I think I have already discussed, you can move the sheet or from one place to another. I mean, if you don't like sheets being at the end, suppose sometimes the sheet is at the end and you don't like to just go to that particular sheet by clicking on this triangle, you can surely move that sheet to at the start, right? You can do that, and then you can also do. Now there's again a small thing, maybe you should know. Suppose if you have so many sheets, and if you don't want to go through that sheet, what you can simply do, just right click this small triangle over here, and then it will show you the list of all sheets it have, and then you just click on that sheet, so it will take you directly to that sheet and activate it. I mean, this is good. There are so many sheets, and now suppose if I'm on the last sheet, and if I want to go to the any specific sheet, just right click this triangle, go to, or double click, and okay. So this is the third video of this whole series, and in this video we'll be going through the basics, I mean, the basics of Excel. because this video will be really important for you to understand the future videos as well. Because what we'll be going through the different types of different types of data in Excel. Then there are special characters, how to change the column width, and then how to change the row height. Because sometimes in day to day, when you play with the Excel, you need to know all these things. And then the typing mistakes that the normal users do, and how do we correct it. And then we have some shortcuts to correct the data that we enter in the Excel. Let me just unmerge this. So majorly we have like string, then we have date, and then we have numbers or numeric, right? So, and if you see over here, these are like the major ones. We have the number, we have general, and then we have date. So these are the major types of the data types that we have. And then let's take it one by one. So no, and it is really important to understand the different types of data, because you will also use the special characters that you might not be able to find in your keyboard. Then Excel has several tools, or even the features to make your data entry quick, efficient, and in the format that you want. And Excel actually automatically determines how data is aligned based on the data type that you enter, or the data that you enter can be formatted based on the data types, like the whether it's a text, numeric, or the other data formats. And if the data that you enter doesn't fit in the cell the way that you want, you can adjust the column width, or even the row height. Now there is Excel's autocorrect features, which can be useful for correcting very common misspelled words, or even correcting the misused capitalization of words. And then you can use to enter special symbols or characters with the which cannot be entered with the help of the keyboard. Now, and then we have auto complete and pick from drop down list features, which allows you to easily duplicate existing column values. And then you have autofill, which can be used to create duplicate cells, enter a series of values, or create a custom list, or use a pattern that you know actually taught it. Right. So majorly, as I mentioned, we'll be going through all these topics detailedly, right? So first we have the data types. So as I mentioned, we have text. So we have text. Sorry, we have text. We have numbers, and then we have date time, or date. Let's say. Now, when you write a text data in a cell, now in the case of text, this is it's also known as the string data. And the data can consist of the combination of the letters, numbers, and even some symbols. Now the text data is normally justified or towards the left side of the cell. And you can't use text data in the formula, so we will come on to that. And then you have numeric data. So numeric data is normally from 0 to, I'll just show you first the string. So when we say range, right, so this is aligned towards left, but when I write number 0, this is aligned towards the right. So this is a numeric data type, and then this is your text data type. And then we have like the date over here. So when you see over here, this has become a date data type. So normally when you type any kind of data, or any yeah, that data, normally you will be able to see the date or the format of that particular text or number. But you can also confirm it with the help of two words. The data on which side it is aligned. So if it is aligned towards left, it's text, and if it is aligned towards right, it is number. And then there are few more. So we have like 1 0 1 towards 9. So these are numbers, and then we have some other characters as well which are considered as numbers. We have comma, we have dot, we have plus sign, and then we have minus, we have open and close brackets, and then we have percentage symbol, we have exponents, capital one, and then the small one. So these are, even though it's aligned towards right, but when we use it with numbers, this is also considered as the number format. Now we have a date format. So generally when we write date, so this is how the date format is like. And then if you want to write the time as well, so let's say I'm just doing control D, and now if you write suppose 5:55 am, so this is the right way of writing a date format. But now I'll just show you how it can be a wrong one. Just give me a second, I'm just formatting this cell. Now if I want to do custom, and then I can do something like this. But now there is a wrong way of doing it. Now suppose let's go to time, so it doesn't have time. Let me, no, it doesn't have, so let me add a time. So let's say HH, MM, and AM, or PM, right? So this is how you can format the date. Now how can this be a wrong date format, or a date and time format? If there is a space, if there is no space between these two, then it will not consider this as a date format. So if you see now, it's a custom one, but if you just make a space, so this will be more like a date format. So just I mean, right now it might not be the correct, I mean, it's not showing the correct way, but that's how it should be generally. Now we have some symbols. Let's add that as well. So we go to insert, and then we have symbols, and then you have like equation symbols are there. Suppose, I don't know, yeah. So this is kind of symbols that you can use, but this is more kind of a formula, but I will show you the symbol as well. Let's go to insert and symbol, and then symbol. So here you can enter all the symbols. Now suppose you don't have trademark symbol, so you can do that as well, right? So sometimes you don't get such symbols over the keyboard, so that's how you use the symbols from the list over here. Right now suppose you don't have symbols like I mean, most of these symbols that you see right now, it's not there in the keyboard generally. So yeah. And then if you change it, now you have text, special characters are there, like this registered trademark. So sometimes this registered trademark is not there in the, not sometimes, but most of the time this registered keyboard is not there in the keyboards, and you can surely go back and get the symbols from here. Now let's go to some basic things of column or column width. Now let's say it's Ranjit. Now we have Ranjit Rajan. Then we have Ranjit R Rajan. So these are the, suppose these are like the text that we have. And then if I want to, so right now these are the text that we have. Now let's say, even though it's in the column A, but it's getting overflowed to column B as well. Now the problem comes in, right now it's not a big deal, but now let's say I'm just saying, let's say name, right, and then ADDRESS. Now when I try to enter, let's say Dubai, and then UAE. Now if you see, the characters or these words are now, no, they are hidden, because now we have entered data in this column. So these are like you cannot see the full text over here. So how can we do that? Basically there are a couple of ways. One way is just double click it, and then it will take the maximum width, whichever the row is having the maximum width, it will take that. Or also you can do something like right click this, and then go to column width, and then increase it something around maybe 25 or something, and then it will increase. But for sure, I mean, it will not take the maximum width, but it's up to you how do you want to use it. So what we will do is just double click it now. But if you notice, this is not taking, the double click on this column is on only auto aligning this particular column, but not this one. So here also it's overflown to the other cell, even though you can see it in this cell only like before, but it's again the E is going to the other cell, right? So what for that, what we can do, just click on this, the top left corner, and then so basically what it is doing, it is selecting the whole sheet and then double click. So now if you see, it has gone to the, it has taken the whole column. So what it is doing now, let's say we have another address, and then we have phone number, right? So now it's plus 971 0000000. Now again, it's okay, this is another way, but yeah, this is called exponential notation. um, so how do you see it? And it's just simple. Just click on this number, and then you will see the whole number over here. And then if you just don't want these decimal places, it can be seen over. I do not wanted to touch this part right now, but since it came, so yeah, you can do that. But now sometimes you don't want to treat this number as a number but a text only. You can do something like, just a small comma over here, and then now this will be treated as a text. Why? Because first of all, this is aligned towards left, right? So just an example, many, this comes out of experience, or you learn out of experience. So suppose you have, you cannot write 002 over here, so it technically becomes a number, and then you cannot add 00. So for that, what you can do, you can just add a small comma over here, inverted comma, not double inverted comma but single inverted comma, and then do 00. So this will become a text now. And this comes very handy, and you will surely like it, because no one teaches you such kind of things. So yeah, now but if you want to convert this to number, just do the, I'll just show you it again. So you have a small error button over here which is coming over here, and then click on the convert to number, so it will go back to the to number. Right. Now there is one more thing which you might have seen. Now suppose, let's make this as just a number, and then sometimes this is too long. Okay, since now see, if you see something like this, and if you think this is becoming error, or this is a error character number, it's not, because basically it's taking this cell is having a smaller space to accommodate this whole number. Just double click, and then you will see, okay, this is not an error, but this cell is trying to take more of a space, or it needs more space. Now similar to that, we can also change the row heights. Now suppose, if you have a bigger font over here, right? Now see, I mean let's change the font itself. I will just do something like this. Let's see, take a bigger. Now if you want to increase the size of this row, just simply right click and row height, and increase it to somewhere around 30. So it has more of a space, and then you align it to center, and this one. So this is how you increase the row. And if you want to do the same, just right click, and then row height, and let's make it 30 as well, so it will become 30. So this is how you can increase the row. But again, now I'll just do the undo, and then if you want to do the similar kind of thing which we did for column, it's like auto adjusting. So just double click, select the whole sheet and double click over here, and then it will increase the height of the row as well. Because see that right now the data is very very small, so you will not understand this very much, but I'm trying my best. But now suppose if there are multiple rows over here, and if you want to increase the height of this only these selected rows, how did I select it? I just selected one row, and then I kept control button pressed, and then select all the rows which I want to select, and then right click, and you row height, and I want to make it 50, so it just becomes a 50. Where does this kind of situation comes? Because when there is a big data over here, so let's say, hi, my name is Ranjit and this is my channel on YouTube, which named Learn How to Code. Now, if you want this to be in the single cell, of course, you need more space, right? So wrap text, and then this is how you can utilize it. Basically, just why do you increase the row or the height of a row? Just to accommodate more, more kind of text in that particular cell. So yeah, this is a use case which I thought maybe you should get to know. Learn how to code with Ranjit Rajan. Hmm? But again, now see the text is a more like hidden. So for that we can again increase the row height from 50 to 55. Again, it's a bit less. Now what we can do, just double click and or let me check. Yeah, now it is more aligned. So yeah, so basically I should have clicked over here instead of over here. So yeah, again, it's up to you. How do you want to use it? Now you can decrease, or even I can increase by just selecting the corner of this cell border or the row border, and then just drag it with the help of mouse. Okay, so row is also done. Now let's go to correcting typing mistakes. Now let's go into how to correct the data that you enter, and by mistake if you make any kind of wrong entry, how do we write it. Now let me just clear this out and then auto align everything, the rows and the columns that we have. It will not align, but what is the height of this row? Column width is 88.43, so let's make it 8.43. Right, so everything is almost like on the same row. Now let's see, suppose you are writing a name or some text, right, and then you understand, oh okay, I missed an I between J and T. So there are two ways. One way is to just do the backspace and write TH, right, and else there is another way. Now suppose you want to add I with not with the help of backspace button but with the help of mouse. You just place the cursor over here and then write I, right. So if you notice, the status bar is still showing edit, so you can surely edit it, but as soon as you enter, and then it moves to the ready status. Now you cannot edit it, because if I try to edit, then the whole data will move out. You are basically replacing the whole data, right. Let's say Rajan. So till the time it's not ready, so till the time it is edit, you can edit it, but as soon as you move out of this Excel, the status becomes ready, right. You don't need to bother about this much. It's like a small thing, but still it's just to understand and learn, right. And now if you want to edit it, double click on any of these locations. So basically, if you want to start editing from the end of the text, you just double click it at the end, wherever you would like to, and then just starting like space and then Rajan, right. So that's how you edit and add data in a specific cell. Now sometimes, now suppose if you have just seen like what I was doing earlier. Now I'm writing Ranjit Rajan, and I've already written Ranjit Rajan, but now I have started writing it again. Now you see that, now you feel like you don't want to make this change, and you want the previous data to be as it is. You can do that till the time it's like in the editing status. And what you can do, you can just do two ways. Either you click on the cancel button, right, or what you can do, you can just simply click on the escape button. So both are like same, but here if you write, now suppose if I'm writing Rajan over here, and if I click on OK button, it will just enter and it will not go back to the previous status. But if I'm clicking on like if I'm suppose writing something and then I feel like I should not write this and just go back whatever it was. And I mean, this is only possible if it is on the editing status, like over here. Now why is it showing enter? Because the data is already there. Oh, sorry. So data is already there, that's why it's showing the ready status. But if I'm writing something over here, so it will be enter status, right? So yeah, I mean, these are small things. If you want, I mean, normally you don't use these the cancel button or escape. Yeah, you normally prefer to use escape button instead of this cross button. I mean, I rarely use, or I have never used, I would say, to be frank. Now suppose you want to just go back whatever the written, or you don't undo whatever you did. You just click on this small button or the command button which is said Control Z, or this is like undo typing Rajan. So I'll just click on this one, and then basically you have the list of what you want to undo. I mean, it's too much, but just don't go to that. You can just simply do this, or you can also do Control Z. So Control Z will also do undo action for you. Right. How do you get to know whether Control Z or not? See, when I put my cursor over this undo button, you can see at the end in the bracket you have Control Z or Control Z. So you can do that shortcut. So it's similar to Control C or Control V, which you use to copy or paste. Now, there are a few more things I think which is really important for you to understand. Now, let's say, do we have any data? Let's bring some data. So this is the data that you have, suppose. Now, okay, what we will be doing, it's more like clearing these formatting. So there are a couple of ways to clear this data. Now what we'll be using, we'll be using this section which is called edit section. I'll just highlight this. So this section is or the group is called edit group. It is found normally or not normally, but it is found in the home button or the tab, right? So what do we do that? Because I've seen not many people uses this section. It's like more to clear things, but within the clear button there are many options as well. So clear all, what it does, it will just clear everything of this grid that we have selected, right? Not even the format. I mean, it removes everything. So when I say everything, so what it means, like it will clear the format. So formatting is something like, now you see no format in this section. So that's what the clear format does. And then you have clear content. So it will just clear the content or the data, but it will not clear the formatting. So if you see that merge and center is still there, right? I'm just doing undo. And then you have comments, clear comments. If there is a comment, now suppose I'll just show you something. Let's say I have a comment over here. This is says data, right? And now if I select the whole section and then click on clear comments, so it will just remove the comments from this area, right? And then you have clear hyperlink. Hyperlink again, let's say I have a hyperlink over here, link google.com, right? And then if I want this hyperlinks to be removed, so I'll just even if you want, you can just select on this particular cell or this whole area, because sometimes you don't want any hyperlinks to be available on this sheet. You just select the area and then click on remove or clear hyperlinks. So right now if you see, there is no hyperlink, it's just a text there we have over here. And then there is again, see, it's since there are two ways, I mean, clearing the hyperlinks if it is there, or let's say now it's remove hyperlink. So now if you see, there is no hyperlink as well. So I mean, yeah, you can use all these options to clear that data. I mean, this is really good. Again, if you want to filter, this filter is similar to what filter do we have over here. Even if you see, you have something similar over here as well. So as I said, in Excel there are many ways to achieve the same action or the activity. So it's up to you, how do you want to do this. Now again, if you don't want that, you can do Control Shift L to filter the data or unfilter the data. So I'm just doing right now, I'm just pressing Control Shift and L to filter unfilter, and then you have a sort or sort the data from A to Z. I think there is a tutorial which I have created for the shortcuts. Maybe you would I mean, it's better to go through that video as well, because it's huge. I mean, it's like a never-ending process of finding the different ways of doing the same activity. All right. Now let's do this correcting shortcuts, and let's do the shortcuts for entering and correcting data. Now Excel provides a autocomplete, or pick data from a drop-down list, or autofill, and then there is autocorrect methods to speed up the process of data entry, and which actually ensures that the data has been entered without any errors. Right. So let's take it one by one. So let's start by using the autocorrect feature, which basically helps you to speed the data entry in the Excel, as well as it prevents errors from being entered in your worksheet by just automatically adjusting entries, or by fixing common types of error as they are being entered. Now Excel's autocorrect feature is useful for, there are like four following situations. One is like correcting commonly misspelled words. Suppose if you spell a word, let's say achieved, right? So let's say you are misspelling a word ACH. Instead of I, I'm writing AEIVED. Now if you just have a just have a look, it will, so this will interchange. So enter. So what you have seen, this E has replaced with I, and the Excel has automatically auto corrected the feature, auto corrected the spelling. Now there is another feature, something like TM. No. Now suppose you have in bracket, there are, let me show you first. Insert symbol, and then I'm going to symbol. Then you have something over here called trademark. So where is it? Where is it? This trademark. So suppose if you want to insert this trademark, you can also do this with TM, and then this will automatically will take it as a trademark. So this is called, and the special characters which you can use, or the system will, or the Excel will auto correct it, right? And then there is a shortcut. Now suppose, let's say in the same row, if you are writing Ranjit, now in the next cell, if you are writing R, R, now it will actually show you A and J. Just yeah. So basically, if you are trying to write the same data or text, it will just show you what it should be, right? Now let's say there is another thing which the Excel does, which is like capitalization. Now let's say if I'm typing Monday, it will autocorrect to M as a Monday, to UESDAY. So yeah, I mean it corrects just to let you know that the Microsoft Office applications, almost all the applications shares the same correct or same way of autocorrect option as Excel. Now let's say you want to add few more words within the dictionary of Excel, like your own system, which you think should be doing the autocorrect. Go to File, More, Options, and then Proofing, and then Autocorrect options. So in this autocorrect, it will show you how to replace something with this one. So let's say I'm writing Ranjit, Ranjith, and it should replace with Ranjit, right? And then if I'm writing add, okay, and then okay. Now next time when I write Ranjit, it will correct it with Ranjit word. I mean, this is really good feature. If you would like something to be like that, I mean, you can utilize the autocorrect feature or add a new word into your dictionary. Perfect. Now, there is a, what you can do there. Suppose we have three data over here, and then in the fourth data, it's not like you want to do a series of data, but suppose if you want to fill this, this cell with the previous any of the data, you just click on Alt and then draw the down key in your keyboard, and then you can select any of these values. So these values will only be there, which I mean these values come only from the data in the above, so you can select the enter. Now for an example, let's say you want to fill this. Now these are like weeks that we have, and then you want to fill this. So just there are, just select all these and then click on no. So select all these and then just drop down, click on this small rectangle at the bottom, not like this one but this one, right top right bottom, and then just drag, and then you can fill the whole weeks. And it also goes similar for the month as well: January, February. Like now if you want to fill the year as well, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. So this way also you can fill, I mean you don't need to write everything, it's just you need to fill the sequence, and then rest it will take. Now for it goes same with the numbering as well, 1 and 2. And then what it will do, you can just drag and drop till whatever you want to fill it. Now suppose you are starting with 1, but the next one should be like +1, or let's say 2, no not 2, let's say 5, right? Just 5. Now the next item should be, it will just keep adding 5 to the existing number. So no, the difference, not the 5 but the difference between these two numbers will keep it on adding. So if you just see the difference between this one is and this is 4, and then this, it will be the same. Basically it's just filling or creating a sequence of the numbers, right? So this is also you can do, like for example you have 100 and then you have 200. So from next item it will be like 300, or 300, 400, 500. So this is how you can fill the data. Now sometimes you just don't want to create a series, but just want to have the same number, like suppose Ranjit, and then there are two ways which the way I like, I will just show you. First that go to the last data where to wherever you want. I did control down, then do two cursors to the right, then control shift up, and then control D. So this will fill the data. This is the one way. Or the other way is like I'm just writing Ranjit and then select this and then just drag it towards last. I mean, as I said, it's up to you how do you want to use it, but like I did, try to use less of mouse and try to use the keyboard as much as possible. Okay. Now, apart from this, you can create your own autofill custom list. So how do we do that? Let me go to the sheet 3 first, and then from here, go to options, and then on the left pane, and then select the advanced, right? And then scrolling down, then you will see general section, and then here you can create edit custom list. Now what this edit custom list does, you can create your own custom list, right? And then yeah, I mean that's how you can do that. So these are like all the custom lists that Excel already has. And then if you want to add a new one, it's a new list. Let's say you have Ranjit, and then name 1, name 2, name 3, right? And then if I'm saying add and okay, right? And okay, Now let's say Ranjit, right? And then I say name 1, name 2, name 3. So this is how you can create a custom autofill list with the help of Excel, right? Hello everyone, welcome to this series of Excel, the ultimate guide for everyone. So just to reiterate, this video is not only for the professionals or not only for the the newbies or the person who's into Excel for the first time, but this is for everyone. The way that I'm taking this video, you'll not be facing any kind of challenges or difficulty to understand what I'm mean to say or what I'm trying to make you understand. So in this video, we will be going through the formatting of data, and then we will majorly we will go through this home tab. So this is the home tab within the Excel ribbon. If you don't know what is Excel ribbon, please go through or go back the video or part first of this series. You will understand everything. So we will be covering clipboard, font, alignment, numbers, and all these sections over here. But this again, editing cells, editing, and these will come in the data tab. But I'll try to cover as much as. So first, let's go through what this each section within the font, or let's first take one example. What we'll be taking today is more of this font section, right? So we will be taking each and every button or the command over in this group. So this font or this whole section is called group, and it comes under the tabs home tab. And this whole area, again, just to whoever is new to this video or series, this whole section is called the ribbons, right? Let's take it one by one. This section is called, or the font name. So this will have the font list of all the font names. For an example, this is a list of all the fonts that you will be able to find in this in the Excel sheet, or even the Word file, or the MS Access tool, or the PowerPoint. In all the Microsoft products, you will find the fonts, and these fonts are like pre-built or inbuilt. You don't need to install something different in your Excel. But suppose if you want to add a new font, then you have to go through that process of going to the control panel and adding a new font. But generally you don't need to do, because sometimes only the some organizations only want to use their own font. Otherwise you don't need to bother. And then you have this, as I mentioned, you have this font, and then you have this increase how to the font size, and then this is your bold. If you want to bold out a text or number or anything, you can do that. This is more like italic. You can make the string or the data on the Excel sheet italic. This is again to make the data underline. Then you have border section or borders command. I will come to that. This is fill color. So if you want to fill a cell, you can do that. Then this is font color. Now right now, if you can see this, the color of the font is black, but with the help of this button you can change the color. And then again, this is the almost like similar to this one, but here you have numbers, but this is more like to change the font size without changing the, or without selecting this number. I will come on to that. So let's start this one by one. First, let's change the font of this data. So as I said, you can select from the list of fonts all the fonts that you can see over here. But now, just to let you know that some organizations, they don't select some random fonts. They prefer to keep it like Arial or Arial Black. I'm not sure even about whether they use Arial Black, but it's more like Arial. So this is more like an official font for almost all organizations, but some prefer to have their own. So this is how you can change the font of the data, right? And then, but again, yeah, if you want something else, now suppose you can select like Arial rounded, empty, bold. I mean, it's up to you, but as I said, let's keep it Arial. This is a section which can helps to increase the size of the font. right? And here, it goes till 72, which if you see, it's really big. Let me just zoom in. This is how you can see the text. But when we keep it 100% of the zoom, you can see you cannot read the data, right? So let's not make it 72. Let's make it something over, like 10 or something, right? Yeah, even though the option over here is till 72, right? But you can do something like 100 as well. See, so you can, I mean, it's up to you which font size you want to use. Here is a section to increase the font size as well. Now suppose you don't want to increase the size with the help of these numbers, but just to use this increase font size command, so you can do that as well. You can increase the size, right? Just let me select this and increase the size. And then again, if you want, you can decrease the size, right? So there is another button over here, just beside this increase font size, you have decrease font size, so you can do that as well. I mean, it's totally up to you which one you want to use. I don't generally use this one. I generally use this one, because see, why do I not normally use these fonts? The reason being, the it should not be like, for an example, this data is of a smaller size and then these are like bigger size. Just to make sure that the whole data is of the same size, what do I do? I just select this and then select somewhere around 12 or 10, and then this whole section is of the same font or font size. And then if I want to increase the size of this one, then I can do now, like the title, I can increase the size. Let's change or increase the size of the headers as well. I will make it somewhere around 14, right? So yeah, so normally you have the text and then also the title and the headers of like different font or the size. And apart from that, now let's come to the bold section. So again, you can make this section bold. If you see, there is a small change in the size or the size of this text. It's basically because of this bold section. And then if you just select this whole area and then suppose you want to bold this as well, you can do that, right? And now let's go to this italic section. So you can do italic here as well. I know right now it's not looking good, but we will come on to what normally we do, or how can we beautify it. Now normally this total is underlined, so we can do the underline section over here and then underline over here as well. Okay, good. Till now it's good. Now let's go to this border section. Now if you see over here, there are the lines in the Excel sheet, and generally people don't know how to hide this. So if you go to this view tab and then uncheck grid lines, this grid lines will go, because see, sometimes you get some kind of this kind of requirements, to remove the headline or these grid lines. Let's say this is what we are trying to do. Let's come to home and then I want to do this. Now if you see, the total is now very much visible. This section is the total. And then if you click over here, you will see many or many more options, like style line. Now suppose if you don't want to use this line, it's like a single line over here, right? So what you can do, you can come over here and then select line style, and then let's say I want to use this one. So what it does, it will select the whole area as. Now if you want to erase this border again, there are multiple ways. Now one of the way is select more section and then do this no border. So this will remove the border, or if let me undo it. And now if you want to remove this border, go to again the border section and erase border. So it will just erase the border, right? But I mean, you don't need to do kind of like hectic work. You just select the more area and then undo the remove or no border selection. It's kind of headache, I would say. I never use it, because once you start using Excel, you will understand the value of time, right? Now, as I did, I just added a border over here, but let me just remove it and then show you again. So right now we don't have any borders, so I want to create a border over here first. So I'm just going over here, all borders. Now I want to highlight. Now let's fill some color over here. So generally, when you share some data with the management, or the seniors, or even colleagues, what you do, you just you differentiate between the normal data and the headers. So how you do that? But just by color, giving a small light color to the headers, so that it stands out from rest of the data. And then if you want to change the color of, suppose now if you want to change the color of total, you can use this option as well. Let's say, let's give some heart color. So I mean, I don't recommend it, but this is how you can change the color of the font as well. Then we have this section which is the group dialog box launcher. So whatever we did over here, with the font or with the align, we haven't gone to alignment, but this is how you can change the font over here, and then you can also make it italic or regular. And then, but at the end, it will show you the sample or the preview over here, right? And then you can select the size. This is how the data will look like. If you want, you can make it italic. And then let's say you want to do strike through, or you want to do superscript. So what does superscript does? Now suppose this is your cell, right? And then if you do superscript, the text will go a bit up, I mean towards more like top of the cell. And if you do subscript, then the text will go a bit more like towards the down of the cell. Then you have a border over here. So this is the line which you can use. Like right now here, if you see, this is like a simple line, but if you want to use the bold line, or some like some dotted line over here, a bit more dotted line, you can do that as well. Now you have fill. So you have I mean, either you can do multiple colors, or different color options are there. Basically this is more like to choose the, let me show you. If I are selecting fill, pattern style, let's say I'm doing this pattern, and then I'm selecting this color. This is how this will look like. And then if you want to do the fill effects, like if you want to do something like this, it will, I hope you understand what it with this. I mean, this is more like designs, but you let's say you want to add multiple, or add different colors together, and then click OK. This is how the cell will look like. More like, there is a small or a light orange color, and then there is a light blue color. Okay, great. So this was more like the font section. Even, yeah, you have font, border, and fill. So all these three normally comes in within this area. So I thought just take you through that as well. Again, I mean, you have different patterns and all. You have more colors again. Now sometimes you don't have a specific color over here, but if you want to select more color, then you click on that, and then you can select different colors. So what it shows, this is the current color that is there in the sheet, and then this is a new color which will get replaced by. So if I select over there, then you see this is how the color change. Now let's say, let me just remove this font, this again, this. Now let's play with the numerical numbers. Even though till now we were playing with that, but now it's more like we'll be going through this numbers section. Or let's align this data first, because I don't like I don't like how does it look. So okay, let's start with the alignment part. So when I say alignment, so this is a section or the group that we'll be discussing now, right? So yeah, let's start that. Now if you see the data right now, it's this section is selected. So basically what it does, it basically aligns the data towards more like towards the down. And if I select over here, it will, align towards more like center, like align the text in the centered. What it mean to say that there is a equal space between the top of the cell and down of the cell, bottom of the cell. So it's similar. So right now we are not talking about the left and right space, but top and bottom space. So these are same. Now if I select on particularly this section, so it's like more the data will be more aligned towards the top, and then there will be more data space toward the bottom. You will not see right now, but if you play with the data, then you will understand. Okay, so this was like more of alignment of data towards to bottom or towards top or bottom. Now let's talk about these three buttons. What it does, it basically aligns the data towards left or towards right or towards center. So generally we all use the center alignment. So yeah, so that's how you align the data towards center. Okay, good. And if you want to do it right or center, right, the data is getting moved more towards the left of the cell or to the right of the cell, right? And then you have this section over here. What it says, you can now suppose you want to um, get this data towards more like angled. Now for an example, you can do counterclockwise, right? And then you do angle clockwise. You can do vertical text, and then you can do rotate text up, right? And then you can do rotate text down, and then last but not the least, format. So here if you see what it does, you can do the kind of the degree to which you want to um, give the angle toward the text. Now this is how it looks. So you can do almost everything if you click on your format cell alignment and all. Now suppose there is one more thing which will be coming through or coming to. It's more like the wrap text and merge center. Now what these two are is more like when suppose this data is too big, and if it is doesn't fit in the single cell. So what we normally do, we do the wrap text. So what it does, instead of taking more space, it will just try to align itself within this cell. Okay, now this one is really important. Now so see, this right now this text is not it's not there till the it doesn't look good. It's always good if you select and make it as a like center of the whole area of the report. And yeah, you can do merge and center, and there are few more options. If you merge across is there, and then merge cells is there, or even unmerge cells is there. So you can do multiple things with this. So yeah, so this is let me just bold this. Now it looks a bit different, right? It looks cool. So this is called the number group. Let me just highlight this for you. This is the number group. When we say number group, it is more like when you play with the numbers, you can you have to use this number group. So what are these? These are like the number format that you can do. For an example, let's say this is a number, right? And if I want to change it to number, it gets changed with the two decimal places. If you want to make it to a currency, then there is a accounting. It's a different kind of formats which we can do. Then you can convert this into date, which is like not a correct date. Then you have long date. So this is more like when you convert this. So okay, so how did you get this date? Is basically these normally when you have a number, it is in a text format, and it represents a date, and it represents date and month, year. You will see when you play with the data that there are, when you convert a date into a text, you will see similar kind of data, or the digits or numbers. We have percentage, fraction, scientific, and then text. Then we have it's more like, here again, as I mentioned, you have the currency, which currency, character, or unit you want to use, and then you have percentage over here. The shortcut for this is control plus shift plus percentage, and then you have the comma. Some countries use comma, some countries don't, so it's up to you how do you want to use this, but that's how the comma is used. And then last but not the least, you have the increased decimal places. If you want to increase the decimal places, this is how you can do it. And if you want to decrease it, now suppose you don't want a dot in the data, this is how you can do that. Now let's go to the dialog box that we have over here. Here if you see, there are many the number, or the options that you have, so you can convert this data into the general format or the number format. So let's say you don't want to see the minus, so it can be done over here. So here if you see there is a small checkbox, if you uncheck it, then the comma separator will not be there. So it is like 1000, and if you want to increase the decimal places, you can do that as well, right? And then you have currency. If you want to make this number into a currency, you can select the currency as well. So I mean, this is a sample that it will show you how it will look like. And again, you can increase the decimal places, it's up to you. Accounting, again the symbol. You have date. If you want to convert these numbers into date, then time, percentage is there. Right now it's 1524, so percentage it means into 100, so it has multiplied it with 100, so we don't want to do that. Then we have fraction. Customs is more frequently used when you try to change the format. Now suppose you can change it to month and date, or so it's more like custom. So if you want, you can type your own custom format, and then if it is acceptable, then it will take that as well. Now let's talk about this clipboard section, and this is really important. I do use it very frequently. Let me just um, show you. This is a clipboard group. How do we use this? Now suppose for an example, you have a percentage format over here, right? Or this whole section is a percentage format. Now we know this cannot be a percentage format, right? So how do we change this? The one way is going to this tab and selecting general, and doing one by one, but there is another way. So let me just undo this and then show you. Now these formats are like normal formats that we see in the data, and what do we want to do is to is copy the format of this cell and then implement the same over here, right? So what we do, we select this cell or any of the cell in this which we want to have the format, and then click on this format painter. When we click on this format painter, you will see a square is being selected. Basically it has copied the format of this cell, and then when you select this whole area, it will go back to, or it will change to the format that this cell was, right? And you can do the other way as well. Now suppose you have this format, and then you want to convert this format, and then you want to change the format of these data to similar to this one. So you just select this format painter and then select this whole section, right? So now one more thing, or one more example I can show you. Now suppose this the whole section or this whole row is in currency, okay? And then I want to make sure that all the data in this section is currency or Aide. I'll just select the paid. I mean, this whole section is already selected, and then I'm doing the format painter and then select this area. This will also become in Aide section. I mean, this is really good. I use it very frequently. because it reduces your time. Otherwise, you have to select each and every cell and then do the formatting part. Now there is another section which is called mini toolbars. So what does mini toolbar, how do you bring the mini toolbar? You right click it and then you will see a small a mini toolbar came in. So this is only applicable for the area which is selected. So how do you do it? You either you click on not this one, you right click it and then you will get the mini toolbar, and you will see almost all the options, like the font or the numbers and all. So this is totally based on the text that you have. Suppose if I want to fill the change the format font color, you can do over here. Now if I want to change the color of this cell background, I can do that as well. Let me right click, and then if I want to make it as percentage or the decimal places, I can do that as well. If I want to merge, I can do that as well. Cancel. And then if I want to do, let's say I want to remove the decimal places, I can do that as well. Since the red color is not visible, let's make it white. Now let's talk about hiding couple of columns or rows. Now suppose sometimes let me just change the format of this. I don't like formats. Okay, now suppose you don't want the end user to see this column, right? So what you can do to hide this format, or to hide this column, you just right click and then hide. So what it will do, it will hide that column itself. Now if you see, there is a small gap between C and D. So if you want to unhide this, you just right click or double click, or no, again I'll show you hide. And then if you see that there is a missing column, then you can select the columns before and after that, and then right click and unhide. In this way also the column will get unhide. And the similar goes with the rows hide. You can hide the row and then you can unhide the row as well. So this is how you can unhide or hide the rows and the columns. I mean, suppose if you don't want to see or if someone don't want to, if you don't want anyone to see the total, you just hide the particular row. And again, if you don't want to see the column total, you just hide it, right? So sometimes people prefer to show it, sometimes people doesn't. So it's all up to the requirement of how does the dashboard should look like. Now see, it doesn't look good. Why? Because now it looks good. I mean, it's totally up to you. How do you want to do that? If I do something like this, it looks good. And then if I want to make the changes like this, I will select the red color. So you want to insert a new row in between these total and the Kerala. So what you do, you right click the last row. Now suppose if you want to add the row before this total, so you select this total and right click and then insert. So there is a new row over here. So and then as you see, the format of this, now suppose let's say we have Goa, right? And then it will take the same format that it is whole the insert or the row had. And then if I say, so it will also take the same format. And if it doesn't, then you just select this whole area or any of the cell, and then do the format, select the format painter, and then do the same thing over here. The same goes for the columns as well. Now let's say I'm hiding the column, and then if I want to add a new column over here, right click and insert a new column over here. So yeah, that's how you add a column. So how do you delete a cell? That is also really important, because now let's say when you right click and click on delete, you get 4 options, right? So what these 4 options I will show you. Now let's say if you select on shift cell left and click on OK, it will just let me show you something over here, 9999. Okay, and I'm just taking the format of this one. Now let's say I'm right clicking and deleting this cell, and I'm saying delete, and if I say shift cells left, did you notice anything? No, I'll show you again. Basically this cell is moving towards left, right? So let me do it again. Right click, delete, and then if I say shift cells left, so what it is doing, the whole row, or the yeah, it will move one cell towards the left, and then it goes same towards same for the shift cell up. So if I click OK, it will just move one cell towards up, right? And then if I say delete entire row, so what it will do, it will just delete the entire row. I will just undo it and show you. So when I'm selecting this particular cell only and then doing the delete, and it will ask you what to do. So if I am saying delete the entire row, it will delete the entire row. Now for the same, for the deleting the entire column, right click and then delete, and then entire column. But now there is again another way doing the same thing. How do we delete this entire row? You just select this whole area and or the whole row, and then right click and delete. In this way, it will not ask you what to do with the action, it will just delete it. And same goes for the deleting column as well. Right click the whole column and then click on delete, it will just delete it. The pop-up like you got in the previous section of when you are selecting a cell and deleting it, that option will not come when you are selecting the whole column or whole row. So yeah, this is all. I think we covered a lot in this video. Thank you so much.